Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed participants of this debate, I appreciate the opportunity to address the claims put forth in The Beautiful Tree, Indigenous Indian Education in the 18th Century, by Dharampal. This book delves into the indigenous education system in pre-colonial India, asserting its extensive effectiveness and inclusivity. However, it is imperative to critically evaluate these claims by leveraging insights from reputable sources, including Indian historians, economists, and contemporary newspapers. Claim: the indigenous Indian education system offered a high level of education across various castes and classes. Counter: it's crucial to recognize the diverse regional and communal variations that characterize the indigenous education system, as emphasized by Indian historian Romila Thapar. Claim: British colonialism intentionally undermined the indigenous education system. Counter: historian Irfan Habib challenges this by pointing out that British policies were influenced by a range of factors, including economic considerations and evolving global dynamics. Claim: British discouraged Sanskrit and indigenous languages. Counter: notably, British scholar Thomas Macaulay advocated translating Sanskrit texts into both Hindi and English, which underscores an effort to preserve and disseminate Indian knowledge, as highlighted by historian Satish Chandra. Claim: British promoted Western-style education for an elite. Counter: economist Amartya Sen acknowledges that British attempts to introduce elements of Western education were also influenced by pre-existing Indian educational achievements. Claim: British spent more on Indian education than in Europe. Counter: while direct comparisons might be complex due to differing economic contexts, the British did invest substantially in Indian education. British historian Thomas Troutman notes the utilitarian approach of British policies towards Indian education. Claim: British rule directly affected 11% of Indians. Counter: recognizing the multifaceted nature of British colonial administration, which interacted with existing local governance structures, helps contextualize this claim. Approximately 11% of Indians were under direct British administration, while the majority experienced provincial and local rule since the 1860s. Claim: British administered provinces allocated more funds per student for education. Counter: supported by historical data, Ainsley Emery's research highlights the British administration's investment in education, which had positive outcomes in regions under their influence. Claim: British improved literacy rates in India. Counter: historian R. S. Sharma's work underscores the remarkable increase in literacy rates during British rule. Literacy figures started from an extremely low baseline, with virtually no girls and only 3% of boys being literate before British rule. Claim: virtually no girls were literate before British rule. Counter: historian Shireen Mooswi's findings indicate that some limited access to education for girls existed even before British rule. However, the British initiatives did lead to a notable expansion of educational opportunities for girls. It is noteworthy to highlight that the British, in addition to their efforts to translate Sanskrit texts, were also involved in deciphering the Brahmi script. British scholars and administrators such as James Prinsep made significant contributions to the decipherment of ancient inscriptions and scripts, which furthered our understanding of India's rich cultural and historical heritage. Moreover, British figures like William Jones and Charles Wilkins were instrumental in teaching and translating Sanskrit works. Their efforts were aimed at fostering an understanding of Indian culture and heritage, as well as bridging the gap between different linguistic traditions. In conclusion, The Beautiful Tree provides intriguing insights into indigenous Indian education. A holistic evaluation necessitates acknowledging the complexities of British colonial policies, the diversity of educational practices, and the broader socio-economic context. The contributions of figures like Thomas Macaulay, investments in education, and the transformation of literacy rates underscore a nuanced narrative. The interaction between British administration and local governance structures adds layers to the discourse, revealing both challenges and achievements in the realm of education. This topic merits ongoing exploration and thoughtful dialogue.